People, welcome to UK Jazz Dance. One of the key things that's the 21st century, all dancers must know their strengths, weaknesses and threats. All dancers should know their unique selling points. All dancers should know what makes them stand out the crowd. And you can see from this picture, this is me dancing in 2011. At the same time, I'm recovering from sepsis. One of the key things I'm renowned for is self-marketing myself. One of the key things I talk about leadership. I'm leadership of action, not position. I'm not necessarily being positions within mainstream society, but as a leader. But I have been a person who's definitely been out there doing what I'm doing in action. I initiate my own projects because I've created my own companies. Do you understand? I created my own groundbreaking companies, co-founded them. I created partnerships. So basically, I've the individual initiated what I need to do for the development of my dance. I'm an individual who explored a wide range of dances. I've been taught by the leading world-class dancers of African, Brazilian, Caribbean, ballet, contemporary, African American, Lindy Hop, tap, all throughout my period of dancing. And that period does not stop. Dance is a lifelong thing. As an individual, I was told as an individual by a great network of mine from London, Stella Canoe, I was identifying what should I share with individuals. If I wanted to share anything with individuals, what should I share with individuals? And she identified the ability to self-promote yourself, the knowledge, experience and skills that you've had. Because as an individual, being a co-founder, you platformed events for other dancers to become dancers. You got other people into college. What drove you and what were the key ingredients of your self-promotion? So one of the things that I want to share with individuals, this picture saved my career today. Well, I can talk in the way that I want to speak today because what happened was my culture of UK jazz dancing was lost in 1986. Basically, I was a soul jazz dancer. Basically, I was a mambo jazz dancer, Latin jazz dancer. I would have to show you them styles, but I have shown you them styles. I've put them on the web today. Basically, I became a preserver of these styles. Okay? And these styles were done with other people. These styles were done as a partner. What you used to do, you involve yourself as practice it with many people was in groups and had partnerships, and many people were in groups. And cut long story short, this picture saved me because what happens is, this picture is an amazing picture because what it was, as an individual, I went away to university, and I'm going to talk about self-promotion in respect to that. And I decided I'm going to refine my styles, I'm going to define my styles, I'm going to preserve my styles on video and tape, and that's what I did. Because I was involved in many different dance styles happening at the same time. My art form, UK Jazz Dance, was an umbrella term for UK underground jazz styles. It existed among bigger dance movements, and we UK jazz dancers stood out the crowd. Our dance style was the most explorative, most improvisational, most physical that you could do. Do you understand? And to do it, you had to have Olympian fitness. You had to be a sportsman or sportswoman, sports boy or sports girl. You'd have to have amazing Olympian fitness to do my art form. And that picture shows you, because I'm here, even though I'm ill, I'm dancing with ease. And that happened for me 5 years, mixing and blending my dance styles together because my culture had been lost. Do you understand? And the culture that I was involved in, soul, disco, funk, jazz, funk, reggae, rare groove, house, jungle, they were all together. Do you understand? The movements have been lost. So I as an individual decided for 5 years, taking 5 years out to go into higher education to articulate my dance and tell you about how I use the dance is important. So what I want to share with individuals is this picture saved me, and it's a marketing picture. And what happens is it's a picture advertising, most important, it's a picture advertising a festival. And the significance of me wearing the clothes is important. Significance of the way I'm dancing is important. Because this all happened by accident. It was my tenacity to involve myself in the new development of live improvisational performance and to redress a fact that UK jazz dance, my art form, was a live improvisational performance, but it was not acknowledged as an art, first of all, wasn't acknowledged as a culture, wasn't acknowledged as a lifestyle. Most importantly, it was acknowledged as an improvisational art when it was growing up. Do you understand? Just the same way what happened to bebop and modern jazz. Modern jazz was not acknowledged to 1959. Do people understand what I'm saying in this room? So there's a history of the development of dance being accepted in the mainstream. Originally tap wasn't accepted as an art. it was viewed as something that was dysfunctional, something that was to be debased, it was inferior. So was ragtime. All these dances were seen as immoral and having no significance to providing, to enhancing a person's cultural creative life. Have you understand? Well, the same what happened to me as an individual, as a dancer. So this is why I'm talking about the significance. Only now people starting to accept the dance, and still within the dance world there's a hierarchy that ballet is the #1 art form in the world, contemporary dance is the #1 art form, modern dance. So you have to understand, my dance has a low status, a low profile and prestige because of racism, because of prejudices, because of Eurocentric writers, and because racism perpetuated that our dance, West Indian dances, were inferior, so therefore no research was done on it. Do you understand? I came back identifying my art form is a live improvisational art form. It's social. It has many different uses. It was social dance. Yeah? It's a stage dance now also. But I've gone to the stage promoting it as a live improvisational art form. It wasn't meant to be this choreographed sort of thing. Do you understand? It came from a certain framework, values and attitudes of behaviour. Boom, it came out of us replicating bebop and modern jazz and jazz fusion values, attitudes and behaviour. So I come back defining my perspective of it, new perspective, talking about it, introduced us to new learning and thinking, and my new learning and thinking led me and others to pioneer their own dance style. It led us to have new perspectives of how we developed ourselves socially, physically, intellectually, culturally, emotionally, spiritually, which hasn't been the knowledge. And to cut a long story short, one of the key things I was identified by my coach and mentor, one of them, Stella Canu, is what would you teach others? What would I like you to teach others? What would you, if she was identifying what I should share with others, and it was about self-promotion. And this picture is a powerful picture for self-promoting. But one of the key things, I'm good at archiving or getting photographs of me performing, because you need to understand 19.9% of all the photographs, video or testimonials of me dancing, I haven't got. Do you understand? As an individual, once I gathered information, that's why I did my own projects. My own projects allowed me to get photographs of me involved in it. My projects allowed me to do video. But what happened, two amazing situations arose, and there were major setbacks. One, I had a lab, and all that information was stolen from me in 1991. Then I had a flood. Cut a long story short, 2005, I put everything on computer, I had backup computers. What happened was I had a virus in a major computer and all backup computers. All the video, all the videos, all the photographs, testimonial letters were all lost. They were crashed, they were lost due to that. So when you think you put information up on the web. But what happened was, as an individual, I still had a few bits in scrapbooks, etc. Secondly, I was decided I'm going to dance, keep myself dancing. And what happened was I decided I'm going to continue my preservation. So one of the key things is this picture is important because it reflects all the different dance styles I already did. And it reflects me in an important event that is taking place in Manchester, the first of its type, which is Mixed Movement Festival. And the Mixed Movement came here in 2009, and from 2009 to presently, I've been a champion of it, an advocate of it, sharing with people the importance of this art form, because it gave me a vehicle to share with people UK jazz dance so they could understand it. Now the term mixed movement is very good in sense of marketing, because what it is allows me to share with people my art form is mixed movement. Lindy Hop was mixed movement. Jazz dance is actually mixed movement. It fuses cross-cultural dances in a cross-cultural experimental way. But this art form lays a foundation to ease people's understanding, because what you want to do is enable people to understand, what's this movement? When you say it's mixed movement, they understand, oh, it's different styles that we mix together. Do you understand? Because there is a turn in hip-hop where they call all styles, which I was using. Do you understand? So when I went to university for 05 to 09, I mixed all the styles I knew together, and I started to evolve them differently by dancing to deep soul, house, jazz, Afro beat, music, African music, especially percussive Afro-Cuban music, I started to dance to it, to make it look different, to give it a different feel. Do you understand? And because that music is a music, when you dance to it, improves your health and your well-being. It makes you do certain movements in your body, and people got that. So I called it all styles, or people call it crossover. So you hear like the Lindy Hop dancers, they'll talk about, relate to something called crossover, which means basically they're mixing Lindy Hop with all of the things. But Lindy Hop, you have to understand, Lindy Hop is the root of hip hop, and mambo jazz is the root of hip hop. Do you understand? But people don't have that knowledge. And to cut a long story short, mixed movement gives people a marketing understanding of my development of my dance. Now, most importantly, I was told that basically I should coach people in self-marketing. And one of the key things, talk about the ingredients in my self-marketing. One of the key things I kept as an individual, I engaged in a lot of continuous personal development activities, a lot of performance activities, a lot of networking activities, a lot of activities where I became a consultant, became an advisor, etc. And I did a lot of that work. Part of my self-promotion and marketing myself, I gave away a lot of stuff free to get experience in leadership. Because only when you get that experience and get people to say, oh right, boom, this person's got talent, because I was being blocked. You have to understand the industry of how many African diaspora people getting opportunities to lead in Western educational system. They weren't. I happened to get in a company that had 3 black members that were first members really teaching consistently for 2 years in white mainstream schools, 24/7, Manchester, Great Manchester. Never been done before, do you understand, as individuals, except by a group called Phoenix. Do you understand? So what happened as an individual, part of my self-marketing was involving myself in activities which were to do with dance training, performance, networking in a voluntary capacity, because I was in Manchester Youth Dance, and basically we went there, it was a place for us to learn dancing, and then what happened out of it, they created a feeder company, and I became a co-founder of it with 2 of the black members and two white members. Do you understand? I'm talking about the importance of that because it was important, because at that time there was no company that existed like that. And what happened, it was the first time that many wider cultures got to see blacks teach in a leadership position as teachers ever. So part of our work within my company in self-marketing myself was simply this. I was one of the first really start to teach in schools, start in education, dance in community, dance tour, and dance in the creative culture industries, coming from a perspective of contemporary dance. Manchester's first ever contemporary dance company happened from 86 to 88, and I was involved in it. It went beyond that. I got injured and decided that I was going to leave that company. But I left it at a good time, at a height in sense of my career, because I was allowed, by the time, because it was in my city, the company, I was involved in other dance companies at the same time. There was no stipulation that I couldn't be involved in cultural groups or creative groups or any group I wanted. So I was still able, whilst in gestures, a lot of work that I did insets for contemporary dance, that's teacher training. I was involved in business and commerce. I got to be involved in a broad range of activities because the company was getting introduced to people wanting to use the dance in broader horizons. Now, that broaden horizons, one of the key things where I was an expert in sense of working with youth clubs. Youth clubs wanted to use dance in a wide range of ways, and I involved myself in dance in a wide range of ways within youth clubs, within cultural groups, within creative groups. Manchester is a place where a lot of voluntary organisations exist, where I got a lot of experience. And as I said, I did a lot of voluntary work because I wanted to explore. So one of the key things about being a contemporary dancer, a modern jazz dancer, or a UK jazz dancer, the whole idea, the conceptuality of it is that you want to explore ideas. And that's what I did. I explored ideas of learning, ideas of thinking, ideas of choreographing. I got the opportunity to work with artists. I got the opportunity to work with entertainers. I got to work with designers. I got to work with architects. I got to work with photographers. I got to work with filmmakers. And so what happened, that meant creating an opportunity where I got access to photographs and videos, testimonials, understand? Very much, like I said, in a very much a voluntary capacity. But what happened, I said 99.9%, I never got that archive. There's a 1% that I got, I still could use for a portfolio. Now, one of the key things was I did some amazing work. So I was a great performer. And what I wanted to start to identify to people, to be a performer takes a lot of work. It needs a lot of scientific knowledge. It needs a lot of experience. To be a great dance model, because part of this picture is, people are unaware, I was a vintage dance model as well as a vintage jazz dancer. If people got that. So what happened, this photograph reflects not only dance, but me being a model as well as a dancer. That's where the dancing gave me the focus, but I knew how the camera works when a cameraman's working and a video person. So when a photographer is taking a photograph of me, I create still images in the air. That's why you see the relaxation within me as a dancer come because I'm a dance model. Some dancers don't show that effect. So when a photographer takes photographs, I create opportunities for the shutter speed for him to take a picture and capture my easiness. And that's why some dancers are recognized as great performers. I'm recognized as a great performer. When I go to stage, I'm very, very relaxed, particularly in live improvisational performance. That's why this photograph is an excellent photograph for showing mixed movement. If you know anything about dance, you can see different styles. You see ballet in there, but you see contemporary, and the way I'm jumping with my feet, you wouldn't see that. You would see that in contemporary dance. The way I'm moving, you can tell that I've done ballet. Do you understand? And then obviously you can tell I've done jazz. So they're indications for individuals. The way I'm dressed, the way I'm focused as an individual shows you I'm an expert in performing, and I've made the movement. This jump, I've made it look easy, and that was done again through ballet. So you know at least he's done contemporary, he's done jazz, and he's done ballet. It shows in this photograph. Do you understand, as an individual? But the irony of the photograph is I was training myself. I do cross-cultural training. I use Thai boxing to develop my arms like that and to develop my body. But people wouldn't know it. That's why this picture is a good picture in the sense of advertising. Now, advertising, one of the key things is, one of the things I want to share with the individuals is that you should make yourself photogenic and you should make yourself a great performer. Because at the end, it comes down to that at the end of the day, how you perform.